We're live.
Hey gang, this is a video all about the economic downturn, the recession that businesses are now facing. Over the course of this video, I want to try and help business owners navigate through the storm that is one of the biggest economic downturns for a generation. I think it could be way worse than 2008. So I want to help you able to survive this economic downturn and actually come up with plans to thrive through it. Because it's absolutely true that more millionaires and billionaires and successful businesses navigate through economic downturns and recessions than in high times. So if you want to be the ones that thrive or even just survive, stick around. The way we're doing this is people have sent me in messages on my Instagram. They've also sent in messages via the YouTube community. And so I just want to go through and answer some of those questions. If you did join us just 45 minutes ago, we lost the internet, but we are now back up and live, and we should be in a really good position. So I'm just going to answer some of the questions. Check 1984 says, I'm starting a videography business. How do I get clients? It's really simple. Right? If you're building a business, you should be focusing on growing your business, not operating your business. You need to learn everything about being a master marketer. Read a book a week on marketing. Listen to every podcast that's available on marketing. I've wrote a book called Getting Customers for Easier, Faster and Less Money Than You Ever Thought Possible. I obviously urge you to go and get that book. It's on Audible. There's loads of great ways that business owners should think about their brain being marketing mad. It's really important because if you're just focusing on operations and you're a videographer, then you're never going to be in the place of abundance. So you want to be thinking, I'm now a marketeer of my videography business rather than a videographer. Neil Bannister says, when do you think cash will be extinct from UK businesses? Well, look, we're seeing cash decline in our businesses, although in some of them, since everything's opened up after the pandemic, we've actually seen cash increase. But I definitely think that cash is on its way out, and within the next 20 years, it'll be gone. Real Burn says, advice for raising capital for property during a recession, and differences between commercial and residential. Now, look, if you really want to have a property portfolio, the easiest and simplest way of building a huge property portfolio that gives you slow pounds is finding a way of building a fast pound machine. We've got these slow pounds and fast pounds. So investments are slow pounds. You put some money in, and then over time, they slowly grow into something that's really valuable. And they slowly grow, and therefore it's very hard for them to be taken away. Fast pounds is like your salary. The cash comes in, all your bills go out, and then the next month, more salary comes in. And in business, we call this cash flow. So cash is coming in, and then you're reinvesting that cash, you're buying stock, paying wages, and the cash disappears, and more cash needs to come in. So how do we build a really big property business and then get them fast pounds into slow pounds? Well, you need to focus on building a trading business. If you've got a trading business that is profitable, banks will lend you money to go and build a property portfolio. That's how I've done it. I focus on business first, property second. And if you focus on building a commercially profitable business, then you can have all of your property dreams come true. Drink and Braden says, is it now the right time to raise investment? Well, yeah, hey, I'm raising millions and I'm investing millions because I think more opportunities are around in recessions. You can get better deals, you can negotiate hard, but we're in a sort of situation now where it's not just an economic downturn, we're in a process of stagflation. So the economy is becoming stagnant, but prices are rising all the time. Now, there is some advantages to that. If you have assets, that means your debt is decreasing faster because of inflation. So that's one of the good things about inflation, but you'd rather just have a nice steady Eddie approach. Central banks want, the Bank of England wants the UK economy to be working at 2% inflation rather than 10, 11, 12% that we're at the moment. And global economies are, America and Europe are also seeing this as well. But if you are focused on commercial awareness, you're focused on your profit and loss, you're focused on margin, you're focused on getting customers, you're focusing on positive cash flow and everything's stacking up, then actually you can negotiate much better deals in recessions. Some of the best things that I've been able to do for my businesses was in 2008, 2009. I got into shopping centers that were giving me leases back in 2008 and 2009. Actually, shopping centers were still really good places to be, not so much now. But in 2008, 2009, shopping shopping centres were giving much better terms and deals than they would do in high times. And so, you see this stuff happening. Right, let's answer some more things. Here we go. Will Rossi come up north, Manchester in particular? Well, this is my ice cream company. If you've got a restaurant and you want Rossi ice cream, or you've got a visitor attraction, wherever you are in the country, as long as you buy a pallet of ice cream, we'll deliver to you. Right, let's get some questions from YouTube. I'm just going to bring them up here, Chance, because it's can you just put me on there just so I don't have to look at that screen? Hi, James. Where should a growing retail business invest during these times? People, systems, marketing, especially when cash flow is tight. Look, if cash flow is tight, then you've got to be focusing on increasing your cash flow, and marketing is the best way of doing that, getting more customers. And most people are just not focusing on marketing enough. And if they're doing marketing, they're doing brand awareness stuff. What you need to be doing is call to action marketing, where you invest £1 and then that pound turns into more money. You don't want to be doing brand awareness stuff if cash flow is tight. You want to be doing marketing that's going to give you instant sales as fast as possible, and you can track and measure it. Bavash says, my question is, we have just been using Google PPC. What are the other ways of marketing? Look, whether you're doing Google PPC, you're doing content marketing, you're doing sales letters or email marketing, if you haven't got a database and you're not doing emails, I absolutely think you should be doing some of that stuff. Email marketing is still so flipping powerful. Text message marketing, so flipping powerful. But you should be focusing on ADA and market message media. Think about who's your market. What's your message to them? And then think about the media. So you've decided your media is Google PPC, but actually you want to be focusing on using the words and the call to actions and the headlines that are going to get you much better return for your Google PPC, your Facebook ads, your emails, your sales letters, whatever it is you do. And I've got a really good formula for it. It's called the AIDA formula. If you write AIDA on a piece of paper and you write this out, A is getting attention. I is keeping someone's interest, a prospect's interest. D is getting them to make a decision. And then the last A is action. How can you get people to action now from your marketing? Best way of explaining this, you see a shop closing down in a high street and they put a big sign in the door saying 50% off everything, we're closing tomorrow. Now, that's a really simple way of understanding effective marketing, because they're not focusing on pretty brands and designs, but that's a really good way of understanding call to action, because people know it's half price and it's closing tomorrow. There's 24 hours to act. Now, you want to try and think about how you can do that in your marketing. That little example that I've given you, your business might not be closing down tomorrow and you might not want to do 50% off, but the message is 50% off, time frame, you have to do it now because tomorrow it's gone. And human beings need deadlines. Another things, you got Beyonce or some mega superstar, tickets go on sale midnight tomorrow. Last time they sold out in 2 minutes. People know they've got 2 minutes to buy. And this is the complete other end of the scale. They're not discounting here. This is full price. You've got 2 minutes to do it. How can you create these instant call to actions to get cash into your business? Now, remember this, the same amount of cash exists in the world. It just stays in people's pockets a little bit longer during an economic downturn. So you need to be thinking about offers, guarantees, call to actions, anything that will get people to make a decision now. And maybe guarantees are a great thing. If you're a service-based business and you say, look, if you order within the next 14 days, the offer is we'll give you a year's free servicing, or we'll 100% money back guarantee anything you buy from us. Sometimes businesses are very open to offering this stuff, but they just don't talk about it. And you need to be putting that all on your marketing. Testimonials are another great way of convincing people to work with you, especially if you've done government contracts or you've worked for big brands. Get that on your marketing, because if people are not sure where to put their money in an economic downturn, seeing those testimonials could be the difference between making a decision to do business with you or a competitor. Do you think B2B is easier to grow compared to B2C? That's really difficult. That's really a great question. Do I prefer business to business or business to consumer? I operate in both. I like the regularity of cash flow of business to consumer, where cash comes in every day. I like the huge cash that can come in with business to business, but you have to wait for your money. I look at Rossi ice cream. We could be owed hundreds of thousands of pounds from big companies. I look at Teddy Tastic, which is my teddy bear making business. Just one customer at the moment owes us £150,000, and they pay us 60 days. But they always do pay us. So I like that big chunk of cash flow coming in when it comes in. I like the buying power that B2B has. But what I've always tried to do is focus on having both, have your cake and eat it. Hey, you're an entrepreneur, you're a business owner. If you can get both, where you've got B2B that gives you buying power, but B2C gives you margin. If you can fuse the two together, you get the regularity of cash flow from B2C, you get the margin of B2C, but the buying power that B2B gives you, then fantastic. And then with our Rossi ice cream, we supply supermarkets, but we also supply to consumer. We have both. So I think the answer is I like both. Motec Performance, how are you finding the drop on some social platforms like Facebook and Instagram? Really interesting. I mean, I haven't focused on Facebook for so long. I mean, I think Facebook's I go on there every day still, but nowhere near as much as I spend on TikTok now and Instagram and YouTube. But I still think you should do marketing on all of the platforms if it's where your customers are hanging out. That's why market message media is so important. Who's your market? What's your message to them? And what media do they use? For our farm attractions and our family days out, they're still using Facebook and Instagram. And so we still need to market on them. But for my business stuff, we put stuff on Facebook, we put stuff on Instagram, but our podcast and our YouTube we see as way more powerful. Ademele Kondi says, if you had £1,000, how would you start your investment journey? Well, I wouldn't. If I had £1,000, I wouldn't be focusing on being an investor. I'd be focusing on building a business, creating profits from the business to then do investment in a serious way. Investing is a slow pound thing. You've got to have a 10-year mindset. You can't just go and put £1,000 into Disney stock and Google stock and expect to make an income from it. But you could put £1,000 into buying some stock and flipping it and turning it into £2,000, £3,000, £4,000, £5,000, and then repeating and then repeating. And then once you've got serious cash, you go, right, I'll now put some of that into investment. And that could be stocks and shares, it could be property, or it could be into another business. Louis Bahari, we're trying to move business to direct debit payments. Smart. What suggestion would you have to migrate clients to that method? You just tell them that's how you operate right now. And I reckon some of them will go straight away, and the others, when you bring on new customers, you just put them onto direct debit. We're actually doing this with Rossi ice cream right now. We've got some customers that, it's just hard work, always chasing them for the money. They always do pay, but if you've got them on direct debit, it's much more predictable on cash flow. And if you're giving people credit accounts, you say that's our terms and conditions now. But you explain that's how it's got to be. Josh Cook says, hi James, a vintage used clothing business here. Do you believe people will be shopping more online for secondhand clothes rather than buying new? I don't know. I just don't know the answer to that. I'm not got experience in that industry, so I'm going to have to pass on that one. 60 Seconds News says, greetings from Dubai. Hello, Dubai. Thank you for joining us. Oh, guys, actually, that's a really cool thing. In the comments, just let us know where in the world you're watching from. Stelios. Oh, mate, I love your airline. Oh, it's not. I thought it was Stelios from EasyJet there. What can you do to increase your prices without losing profitable business? You've always got to increase your prices if your costs are going up. I think it's really important that you explain to your customers, you write a letter to them in the next 60 days, we're going to be putting our prices up. That's how we do it. So we let them know in advance of the price rise rather than just doing it in the next day. But you've got to explain it. And sometimes businesses are guilty of just having customers that generate them turnover rather than profit. And sometimes that makes sense if you're using them for buying power. Sometimes you can have a really big customer that allows you to buy in volume, that allows you to make margin elsewhere. I've used that strategy many times, but you can't just use that as an excuse. it's got to be well thought out before the fact. So that's my point on there. Pier 52 wakeboarding. If not, hang on a second. Have you seen a drop in customers within the leisure industry during this time? If so, what can be done to bring people in? Yeah, it's definitely harder to get customers now. People are definitely being more thrifty and nifty with their money than they were 12 months ago. But if you didn't watch the beginning of this live, definitely 100% is learning how to do effective marketing. I really urge people to go into the delves of my YouTube channel or listen to my podcast where I've done some advice on marketing. There's loads of stuff. Get my book, Getting Customers, get other people's books on marketing and understand how to do call to action, return on investment, guerrilla style marketing, not brand awareness marketing where you actually spend some money, but you get instant gratification in terms of cash flow into your business. I'm teaching all this stuff, by the way, guys, at Masterclass. If you don't know about this, if you're just joining us on YouTube, we're running a 2-day meetup for all my listeners of the podcast and the viewers of this here YouTube channel. It's called Business Masterclass. We're running it in London. Tickets are only a few £100. I promise you it's going to be a great 2 days. 2 days in London where you can actually work business, meet hundreds of other people that watch the YouTube channel that have got a business or wanting to grow their business, take their business to the next level. Maybe they're a solopreneur, they want to go to entrepreneur, or if you're an entrepreneur and you want to work out how to be an investorpreneur, which is what I believe the top level of business entrepreneurship is, where you're starting to think way more strategic about building a commercially profitable enterprise that works without you in it. And actually, I think it's really important to know all the stages ahead of time before you actually get there, because then you can plan more effectively. To get your tickets, go to James Sinclair, BMC.net. I've just put a link in the comments. I promise you guys it's going to be a great 2 days. And if you don't like it, by the end of day one, if you think, yeah, this wasn't great value, which I know it won't be, I'll give you all your money back and give you your train fare back as well, because I'm that sure that it's going to really help people explode the growth of their business. Honestly, it's going to be great. I can't wait to meet everyone. So many people have now watching the YouTube channel, been listening to the podcast, and I cannot wait to see people back live in person. And, I used to do this stuff, like my business masterclasses. I used to do something called Entrepreneurs Masterclass. I used to charge a couple of grand for this sort of stuff, and I just don't want to do that anymore because I've got enough businesses. And so I'm just doing it once a year, Business Masterclass, 2 days in London, a few £100. I think you're going to absolutely love it. Get your tickets, link in the comments. Let's get to some more questions. Louis says, what sector are you struggling the most to find people? Does your social channels help bring people to you? Yeah, obviously, building a personal brand, being active on LinkedIn, being active on Instagram, or even building a business profile that makes you famous, whether you're a bakery, you're putting all your cakes and stuff on there, or if you're a builder, showcasing all the stuff you're building. People that work in those industries go, wow, these guys are really the leaders of their craft. I want to go and work for them. But the thing is, there has been up till now a shortness of supply of people. People didn't want to work. Now, I am definitely seeing businesses now starting to cut their cloth accordingly. All of this race for talent, I think, is going to reverse down. And I think we're going to see a situation where companies are going to start letting people go. And I think we're going to start seeing unemployment. I really think that is going to start happening. And I think that's starting to happen now because businesses are just bringing more and more costs on, and they're not working out how to bring in more and more turnover. So you've got to be lean. You've got to be mean. You've got to be a lean, mean, profit-making machine. You've always got to be like this. But now, because of inflation, we're getting these uncontrollable costs. I was speaking to a good friend of mine, Matt Mason, owns a couple of restaurants. One of his restaurants last year, £24,000 worth of electric. He's just come out of his electric contract, and he's just been requoted using the same electric, £75,000. £75,000 from £24,000. He's got to find £50,000 more just to pay his electric. He's got increased NI. He's got higher VAT than he did have last year. He's got higher food costs. Everything is going up. And so he'll be looking at his payroll now thinking, where can I save some money? like most businesses, they'll be looking for efficiencies. You've got to grow turnover so much to stand still. You've got to grow margins so much, but consumers are also doing this stuff. Their electric bills are going home, their food prices are going up, and wages are not catching up as much. You've got interest rates going up, so people have got less disposable income if they've got variable rate mortgages. My God, gang, we've got to be so on it. You've got to be so focused on your monthly profit and loss. Maybe you're not to try and work out how to do daily profit and losses. I use this thing called a daily income sheet for most of our business. Let me just have some water. A daily income sheet that in effect gives me like a daily profit and loss. I put my sales in, I put my wages, my hours spent, and the amount of stock we've made if it's relevant for that business, stock we've sold, and then a nominal amount for the overhead of each day. And you can see if you're making a loss or a profit within 10-15% each day of accuracy. And then by the end of the month, you sort of know where you're at already. And I think that's really powerful. If you can come up with, dashboards or systems to give you more accurate P&Ls and numbers to navigate the storm that you're in, that's going to really, really help. Okay, Craig Weaver, tips for getting staff over cleaning business and self-employed staff are so hard to come by. Don't have self-employed staff, employ people. That's the fastest way of solving that problem, especially if they're regular staff and you're using them all the time. Employ the people. It makes your business worth more money as well. If you want to go and sell your business and I say, I'd like to buy your business, I'd like to meet your team. They've got no team, they're all self-employed. That means that your business is not worth as much as a business that has got employees, in my opinion. Views on retail finance offering buy now, pay later to increase sales. You should always be offering that. Partner up with Barclays or one of these other lending firms. You should always be offering finance terms to business to consumer businesses, B2B. Find people you can partner with, because that could be the difference of getting a sale over the line or not. Lloyd's released the other day that 80% of people that have got bank accounts at Lloyd's TSB have got less than £500 in their bank account. I've seen another statement that says there's £200 billion in UK consumer bank accounts right now, which is the most there's ever been. So there's two parities for you. But you should absolutely always be offering finance terms, whether it's B2B or B2C, because that could be the difference between getting customers and not getting customers. The trick is you don't be the bank. Try and find someone else that can partner with you to get the cash in straight away. Hi James, Jason from Rocket Railways here. Great entrepreneur. We turned over just over 300,000 last year. How much stock should we hold? Oh, that's really difficult. Here's the thing about stock. What you don't ever want really in business is that all your profits stuck in stock. And I've always, and I suppose the world has always worked to just in time. You as a car manufacturer, you would get all your products in just in time. There's a number of reasons that's really handy. Number one, you're not tying cash up in stock. Number two, you don't need great big warehouses just to store stock. Hey, then comes along 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, and parts of the world's economies closed down, and there's not enough stock coming in. There's not enough containers to get things around the world, and you might buy your microchips from one country, you might buy your material from another country, so you need the global economy to work. And so what's happening now is you've got to sit on more stuff. So when the world does go back to normal, you want to keep your stock levels just in time, and that will happen in the next 5 years. You can go back to that. But right now, if you want to be in business, certainly the way we are in our businesses, we're holding more stocks than I would like us to have. And you want to have stock to sell. If you know your stock is going to turn, then it's fine. Better question to ask maybe is, how often can you turn your stock over into cash? What's your cash flow cycle in a year? Now, great businesses will turn their stock 3 times in a year. So if you've got, I don't know, 500,000 of stock, that 500,000 is revolving 3 times in a year. So a garden centre might resell the same thing 3 times in a year. A food supermarket might sell the same thing 10 times in a year. If you're keeping stuff and it's not turning back into cash for 24 months, that's not smart. But if you're stocking up and you're going to turn that stock 3 times in a year, that will be smart. That's how I try and work to it. I want to turn every line 3 times in a year. Hopefully that answers the question. If you've got stuff that's not turning 3 times in a year, then you are sitting on stock and tying up cash unnecessarily. Hopefully that answers the question for you. Fat Chuds, I think we should make some Entrepreneurs University modules about that. Can you make a note on that? Those of you that don't know, guys, if you want some more advanced help, we've got Entrepreneurs University. You can try it free for 14 days. There's loads of modules on how to really grow your business, and you can try it for free at jamessinclair.net. Okay, 60-second news. I have a small cosmetic company. I need advice from you on how I can increase my communication skills and how to lead people. Well, look, the very fact that you've written that down and put that in a comment, you know that you need to improve yourself. Great Jim Rohn saying is never wish your business was better or your life was better, wish you was better. And how can you improve yourself? How many books do you need to read? How many seminars do you need to go on? What do you need to learn so that you can earn more? And a business effectiveness is only as good as the entrepreneur's effectiveness. If you're a good person, you're going to get good results. If you're a great person, you're going to get great results. If you're a good person, you're going to get good people wanting to work for you. If you're a great leader, you're going to get great people wanting to work for you. So how can you sharpen your saw? How can you move yourself up the skill ladder so that you attract even better people to come work for you? Hopefully that helps. Info Not Found says, hello, I love your videos. I love you for saying that. Thank you very much. Craig Weaver, cost of employing is so expensive, plus being mainly young women cleaners, they have babies, and I do not want the cost of that and having to get someone else. What is the best way to go with this? Craig, that's your opinion. My opinion is you build a team, you employ the team. If you're using regular people and they're doing the same shifts for you, you shouldn't even be doing self-employment in the UK. Ring up HMRC and say, I'm paying the same person, self-employed, they're doing regular hours for us. From an employment point of view, they're seen as regular employees, and they are regular employees, and they can have you over. An employment tribunal, they would win. So have that called there, just saying that as it is. Matt854 says, do you think assets will devalue with rising interest rates? Will you sell, avoid buying assets, lease to navigate this? It's really difficult. It depends on the sector. If you own assets and you've got inflation, inflation is eroding your debt. Now, I want to get on my conspiracy theory about this, but I do think the global world economies, they invested or they spent billions on job retention schemes. They've done loads of quantitative easing direct to businesses. And, you've got the UK economy going, right, we've just done billions and billions of pounds on propping up the UK economy. We've had the vaccine rollout and they owe loads of money. So if all that, and America's done the same, and Germany's done the same, and Japan and Australia have all done the same. And if inflation keeps going up, it's actually eroding that debt. So it can be, if you've got debt, you've got assets, inflation is actually helping you. Now, the problem is we're not just in inflation, we're in stagflation, because we've got a stagnant economy that's not really growing and everything's inflating out of control. Property prices are still going up. Although I do think some of this stuff is now trying to turn the tide. We've got oil prices going down, copper fell by 30%. So more and more commodities are now starting to come down. And I do think in the next 9 to 12 months, we're going to see a reprieve. The problem, I think, is banks are going to stop lending money. That's what I think is going to happen. They're going to stop lending to SMEs. They're going to stop lending to businesses. That's going to cause investment to go down. And that's some of the stuff that I worry about for SMEs. So you've got to find more creative ways of getting finance in your business. And that's buying businesses using vendor finance, for example, where the seller of the business lets you pay them over a period of time to take the business over. I've done that a number of times. There's loads of other ways that you can do it. I haven't got time to talk about this all on YouTube Live tonight, but make sure you get your tickets to Business Masterclass, because I'm going to go through all of that. 2 great days in London. For all the people that watch my YouTube videos, listen to my podcast, guys, you're going to love it. I've put a little link in the comments where you can get your tickets for Business Masterclass. I promise you it'll be just few £100. It's great investment grade business. James Sinclair, bmc.net. Let's ask some more questions now. Jack Smart says, James, throughout lockdown, I created a successful small side hustle business, buying and selling vintage bicycles. I was making about £500 profit a week. Go you. The market's gone. Now I'm skint. How do I get back on my feet? Well, Jack, there was a hungry audience for that. You know how to sell stuff. Find where the next hungry audience is. Look, I love saying this little fact. 2008, Cadbury's, the chocolate people, had their best ever trading year because in an economic downturn, people love confectionery. They love cosmetics. They love things that are going to make them feel good. Jack, you know how to sell stuff. You worked out how to find people. That industry's died up. Let's find the next thing. Where is the hungry audience? If entrepreneurs and business owners focus more on where the hungry audience is that are wanting to buy stuff, you're going to do really well. Think about all the toilet roll entrepreneurs at the beginning of the pandemic, or the pasta entrepreneurs, because people couldn't get that stuff. If people could find out a place of selling it, then they'd go for it. Now, I'd done the same. I opened a farm shop in the beginning of the pandemic. It was fantastic. Tens of thousands of pounds worth of cash coming, but it dried up. And so I stopped doing it and went back and used that building as a gift shop for my tourist attraction because I could see that sometimes things just come to an end. So you want to find out where the next hungry audience is and don't persevere trying to flog a dead horse. Hopefully that answers the question. Horizon 301, is there any support you think the government should be providing to ease the troubles facing businesses? Yeah, I mean, my big thing is for governments to stop taxing turnover and start taxing profit. This national insurance increase is just going to cause businesses to not employ as many people. Rising VAT, stupid business rates are making people not go into high streets. I still think some high street businesses can thrive still. Today, go and check out Primark. But it's not for every small business to think that they are Primark overnight. So they need protection on this tax on turnover to be able to establish themselves. The harsh reality is only 5% of businesses make it past 10 years old. And I believe that more businesses could last a lot longer if there wasn't so many taxes on turnover. I'm happy to pay tax on profit. I just don't want to pay it on all this bloody turnover tax. It just, swipes people out of feeling like they want to carry on. James Wheeler, very informative, James. Just found your channel in the past few days and I've been really enjoying your videos. Thank you, James. Don't forget to check out the podcast, gang. If you haven't checked out the podcast, I coach entrepreneurs and business owners on their challenges and you get to live listening to that conversation. We're on Spotify and all of that stuff. Just type in James Sinclair or wherever you listen to your podcast and you have a good listen on that as well. Different style of content to what we do on YouTube, but I think you'll find that really, really cool as well. Sam Jorna, running a business, selling around 3K per week with 35% profit margin after cost and fees, eBay and Etsy, one-man band. Should I employ a PA as my first employer to help me handle the books and customer service? Yes, you should, so that you can focus more on marketing to get that 3K into 5K. Into 6K. That is a very smart thing. My first employee was an admin assistant. Get rid of all of that low value stuff so that you can focus on the high value stuff, income generating tasks. If you are an SME business owner, the more time you focus on income generation rather than operating, the more chance you have of soaring to success. There we go. Drink Breeden says, is it a good time to raise equity in your business? I've never sold equity in my businesses. I own 100% of everything that I've got. But I think I probably could have grown my businesses a lot faster if I had venture capitalists and private equity and all that stuff, but I wouldn't have enjoyed my life. I like to, it's weird, because I let everyone do everything for me. I've got quite a democratic approach to business in terms of my team, but I don't want to be told what to do by a venture capitalist. So I've never done that stuff, but I can absolutely see how it can catapult businesses into absolute stratosphere if it works for you. Look at Amazon. Look at Facebook. These companies have become what they've become because of VCs and equity-backed investment. He's also asked me, what's your thoughts on NFT? I don't understand it in enough detail to be able to give a clear understanding of it. People ask me about cryptocurrencies and stuff. what I understand about it is nowhere near enough in expertise that I want to come on YouTube and talk about my views on it at the moment. So until I know more, I can't comment. Yeah. Jason says, big fan, James. Thanks for all you're doing. I really appreciate that. Hope to see you at Business Masterclass. Sam Purcell says, fellow Essex chap here. What's your thoughts on direct marketing to find partners in B2B company? Yeah, absolutely. I love direct marketing. Everything I want to do is direct marketing. I believe still passionately sending letters in the post, handwritten letters in the post to direct decision makers for your business can be one of the cheapest ways of getting big potential customers into your business. Really think I'm a big fan of that. I think I've answered most of these now, haven't I, Chuds? Is there anything you can see?
Sam Jurnett, running a business selling around 3K per week, 35% profit margin.
Yeah, I answered that.
Did you?
Yeah, I did answer that one. Definitely.
What do you reckon if I start a purchase lease option agreement?
Purchase lease option agreement. Well, I'm a big fan of lease options on property. I've used them. What's to lose? Especially if you're worried about it, you put in a walk away agreement where you can walk away if you don't want to do it. So wherever possible, always de-risk your position.
Victoria Virgin, do you think the independent hospitality businesses are unlikely to ever see a boom again?
No. Victoria asks, I'm trying to see that so I can. Right at the top, is it, Chance? Victoria. Just so I can get that. Oh, yeah, here he goes. Victoria says, do you think that independent hospitality businesses are unlikely to ever see a boom again? We'll have to tack on other forms of revenue to support them at all times from now on. Well, first of all, Victoria, multiple revenue streams that fold into your existing business is something you should be doing high times, low times, medium times, all the times. I've been doing that for the last 20 years of my business career, and that is just a super smart thing to do. But I think there are winners and losers all the time. Hospitality is difficult. Hospitality is difficult in a recession. Hospitality is difficult in high times. I've got lots of businesses in hospitality. From the outside, it looks like a real sexy industry to be in, but it's bleeding difficult. So how can you win in hospitality? You focus on margins. You focus on trying to own the property that your hospitality business operates from so that you can control your rent and overheads, and you try and fold in other revenue streams. Now, look at my hospitality business. I owned an indoor play centre chain, and I bolted on day nurseries to them to give that hospitality business regular income. So that's just my opinion on that. Treesco says, my high sales, low profit have taken a dip. My niche within a niche, high profit margin. Not really a question there, so I can't really answer that. Rocky Railway says again, me again. Before we get deeper in a recession, is it a good time to get borrowing as much as possible, even if we don't need the money? Look, I'm doing that. I'm borrowing more now at low interest rates. You lock it in the bank, and if you don't need it, you don't need it. I'm actually selling some properties. I'm going to put that cash in because I believe there's more property deals coming up that I can get at a price. People have offered to buy some of my properties. They want to pay full price for it. I'm putting the cash aside because I think in the next 6 to 9 months, there's going to be some better deals coming up. I wouldn't go out of my way to sell anything. It's just that they're begging to buy it off of me. And so, yeah, I think if you can get low interest rates, lock the cash in, then I would be doing that. And I think you'll see lots of businesses doing that because I don't think banks are going to be lending like they are today in 12 months' time.
Jason said, what advice would you give us about making a business recession-proof?
No business is completely recession-proof. No business is proof in high times. But you focus on regular income. You focus on building businesses around love, want, and need. And these are the best businesses, by the way, gang. If you can find a business, we haven't spoken about this for so long, have we, Chuds? But the best businesses that I've come across have the 3 elements. People love it, they want it, and they need it. And that's why I think childcare businesses have done so well for me. People love their children to be educated. They want their children to be educated, and they need childcare because they've got to go to work and make money. Food businesses always do spectacularly well during a recession. People on the most love food. They want food and they absolutely need food. And so if you can find those love, want, and needs, I mean, these guys here, I can't believe this, that I'm saying this, but Apple have created a love, want, and need business where people love their iPhone. They want their iPhone. And if their iPhone breaks, they book that Genius Bar appointment because they need their bloody iPhone. So if you can find a business that hits those love, want, and needs, you will always be recession proof. People can find money for food, childcare, their iPhone technology before they find food for other things. MOT stations are definitely recession proof. Insurance is recession proof. Accountants, people, accountants actually do better in economic downturns. Hopefully that.
Been sending out letters to business owners with no bites yet. Any thoughts on a different approach?
Your copy isn't good enough. So Thomas is looking to buy businesses and he's been sending letters in the post to people. Maybe it's not personal enough. Maybe it doesn't have the person's name on it. I think it's really important that you put some handwritten stuff on the envelope, make the letters specific to their business. If you're a fan of their business, put that in there. Sometimes you've got to put a bit of kindness and humanity into something. Just putting out a blanket email that looks like or a blanket letter that looks like an advertisement will go straight in the bin. So you've got to think way more creative about it, and think way more about writing really good sales copy, or copy that's going to get people to understand. And how many of you sent out? If you've only sent 20 letters out and no one's prepared to buy it yet, maybe you need to send 1,000 out, and test and measure it. Try different versions. There we go.
What do you think about going to university?
What do I think about going to university? It's not for me. I think if you want to be a vet, I think if you want to be a barrister, a lawyer, an accountant, then university is great. But if you're in entrepreneurship and you're building a business, the university of life is going to get you far closer to where you want to be a lot quicker. I don't believe in going to university just to kill a bit of time. The days of just going to university to waste 5 years and get a career that you don't really enjoy, we just got to change that. There we go. There we go. I think we've covered enough there. Just a little thing for you. I'm writing a new book at the moment. It's called The Dream Team. Lots of things and lots of comments come up to me about, hey, James, I'm really struggling to recruit people. I'm really struggling to find great people for my business. So I thought, I'll write a book about it. I've wrote 3 books. The 4th book, The Dream Team, is going to be released at Business Masterclass. And anyone that buys a ticket before midnight tonight for Business Masterclass will get a signed copy of that book before anyone else. We'll have all your details on your ticket entry. Tickets for Business Masterclass, gang, they're just a few £100s. It's going to be the best 2 days meetup for entrepreneurs and business owners in Essex. I'm going to teach you about property investment, how to buy companies with as little money as possible. I'm going to teach you how to raise finance, how to build great teams, how to get customers for as little money as possible, how to find other ways of raising finance that are not just banks. I've booked Barclays, Investec, and Math Finance. They're going to do a panel session with me where we're going to be asking them how they would fund different projects with live people in the room, being able to question and answer them, and me in the middle saying, I think you're lying, Mr. Bank Manager. I don't think you will fund that type of business, or I think you will, whatever the case may be. So honestly, gang, this is going to be just a fantastic event for business owners, entrepreneurs. And it's going to be in the beautiful city of London. We've even organised a really good delegate rate on the hotel as well. So for a few £100, you could come to Business Masterclass and seriously grow your business and meet hundreds of other entrepreneurs and business owners that are serious about growing their business, and get a brand new signed copy of my new book, The Dream Team. To get your tickets, go to jamessinclairbmc.net. There's also a link in the comments. I'd like to say a massive thank you to all you guys that have joined up tonight. Hopefully we've offered you tremendous value in terms of growing your business. And don't forget, in recessions, gang, I mean this. This is absolutely true. More millionaires, more successful billionaires, more successful business owners are created in economic downturns. You can absolutely thrive through this if you do all the right stuff. Focus on your cash flow, focus on your profit and loss. Remember, you need to do more marketing than ever in an economic downturn. You have to do that. So I'll be here on the YouTube channel supporting you. I'll be on my podcast supporting you. Go for it, gang. I really believe that UK entrepreneurs and worldwide entrepreneurs are the people that solve the world's problems. So I believe that we can get through it, and I'll certainly do my very best to support you. Hope to see you at Business Masterclass. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, and I'll see you real soon. Ta-ra.